Steve King is a loathsome Republican congressman from Iowa, and he does not like immigrants. He's made that very clear. In case it wasn't clear enough, though, he's going to give an interview here where he talks about the dreamers, as they're called. They're people who would benefit from the DREAM Act. Now, remember, these are undocumented immigrants who were brought in by their parents who didn't necessarily know what was going on because they were young. They came in at an early age. And they wound up being successful, and they're either going to join the military or they're going to go on to college. So obviously they did well in high school. That's who he's talking about. But apparently Steve King is not buying it. In fact, he thinks they're all drug smugglers. Oh, come on. He didn't say that, did he? Watch.
Those folks are eventually allowed to gain full citizenship. That's what you would define as amnesty.
That's pretty close, John. I mean, I defined it as a pardon and a reward, a pardon for immigration lawbreakers coupled with the reward of the objective of their crime. I think that your definition is very close to that of mine. And there doesn't mean that there aren't groups of people in this country that, that I have sympathy for. I do. And there are kids that were brought into this country by their parents unknowing that they were breaking the law. And they will say to me and others who defend the rule of law, we have to do something about the 11 million. And some of them are valedictorians. Well, my answer to that is, and then, by the way, their parents brought them in. It wasn't their fault. It's true in some cases, but they aren't all valedictorians. They weren't all brought in by their parents. For everyone who's a valedictorian, there's another 100 out there that they weigh 130 pounds and they've got calves the size of cantaloupes because they're hauling 75 pounds of marijuana across the desert. Those people would be legalized with the same act.
Cantaloupe calves? That's a stereotype I was not familiar with. In the beginning, it sounded like standard fare. Oh, amnesty, but I have sympathy, etc. And then he turned into, for every one good Latino, there's 100 with cantaloupe calves smuggling that marijuana across the board. I love how specific he is. 75 pounds of marijuana, they're all smuggling it. It's a 1 to 100 ratio, and they all have calves like this. Who comes up with an insane stereotype like that? And so remember, the DREAM Act people are going to college or they're signing up for our military. They're not drug smugglers with cantaloupe calves. It's because Steve King can't stand immigrants. And his disdain for Latinos just oozes out of every pore. Now, this was so loathsome, even the Republicans turned on him. John Boehner said it was wrong. It takes a lot for Boehner to say that another Republican was wrong. And House Majority Leader Eric Cantor said it was, quote, inexcusable. Wow. You don't see Republicans saying that about each other very often. So obviously, Steve King realized the errors of his ways and apologized yesterday, right? Wrong again, Bob. Here's what he said. It was relatively dormant until another member of Congress decided that he was offended. And of course, he didn't have an alternative number. He didn't suggest that there are more valedictorians than there are drug mules. But it's enough for anybody to be offended these days. They apparently don't have to use their brain. So if you don't think the ratio of Latinos are 100 drug smugglers to 1 valedictorian that are crossing the border and are undocumented immigrants, well, then you don't have a brain at all. And Steve King can't help you if you don't have a brain and all you have is cantaloupe calves. I'm looking around LA, because I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of Mexicans in LA. I'm looking around, any cantaloupe calves? Hey, Jesus, have you ever seen a cantaloupe calf on a Mexican? You know a lot of Mexicans.
I do, but I always thought it was from soccer, not from...
That's your mistake. So that's right.
I guess that's where I messed up.